Hi, it's Alaska Granny. I'm having a relaxing evening here in Alaska with my little dog Teddy, and I wanted to talk to you about the prepping that I did this week. The first thing I did was take Teddy to get caught up on his shots. You have to have the rabies, the parvo, and the bordetella. The bordetella is drops, and those you get once a year, and the parvo and the rabies you get every 3 years. Well, Teddy was due for the 2 shots, and the people at PetSmart told me, look up the Alaska SPCA. You can go online, make an appointment, go in there, and the shots are only $33 a piece. And I had tried to get an appointment at the vet, which they're much more expensive there, but the vet didn't have any appointments for weeks, and I didn't want to risk him not having the vaccines that he needs. So if you have something like an SPCA in your community or in your state where you live, look them up and see if you can get your pet vaccines there, because it was so simple to do that here in Alaska, and it was inexpensive. And it's important that we keep our pets safe. We are in charge of their medical care, just like we're in charge of their food and their water. They give us love. We give them everything else. So I took him to his appointment. They took him in, they gave him his vaccines, they brought him back out. He was all happy. We came home, he played, he ate. We had a great day. And the next morning when he got up, it was like he couldn't use his right front leg. And he wouldn't put weight on it. If I touched it, he would cry. And I was uncertain if he had hurt himself or if it was a reaction to the vaccine, because I didn't know for sure where they had given him the vaccines. So I checked with them and they said yes, they had given it to him on his right front. So I was not aware that that could be a sign. I just didn't know. So I thought I would share that with you. And then the vet told me that it's more common for small dogs to have a reaction. So if you're taking your dogs in and you're getting a vaccine, first of all, try to find out where on their body they're giving it to them, because I guess it's back to like when we had the pandemic. You don't even get to go in anymore. They come and take your dog in and they bring him back out, which I suppose that's good. We don't have to see them get a shot, which I'm not all for that, but I want to make sure that he has them. But I was so glad that he was able to get them and that they were so caring at the Alaska SPCA. I was certainly pleased with the service that I got from the Alaska SPCA. I was able to get his necessary vaccines in a timely fashion. They were affordable, and then they had no problem with me coming back in and checking with them, and they were very caring about my little dog Teddy. So that's been a concern this week, so that kind of put a damper on my prepping. One of the priorities that I've tried to do with my prepping lately is to go through my pantry, find foods that are out of date, and then make meals out of them, be creative. And so a lot of those, I've had some jars, and then I've been very carefully cleaning the jars well, drying them out, making sure there's no more aromas in the lids, and using those jars to store dried beans and rice, peas, lentils, and even to mix up a few different types of soup mixes, so that then I have it all in a jar. Then you can dump it all in the crock pot with some water and let it cook all day, and you have a nice, simple, affordable meal from the foods in your pantry. So don't be afraid to use some of the foods, the long-term foods, the beans and rice, those types of foods. Make sure that you still have ideas on how to prepare those, use them, cook with them. You don't want to store away 50 pounds of all different kinds of beans and rice and have no idea what to do with them, and then wait for some big apocalypse to figure out how to use them. That could be a very hard learning curve. So you might want to make sure that you're trying some simple recipes. I'll put some links so that you can look up how to make some of those meals in a jar that you can just stick with water in your crock pot and make some nice, hearty, inexpensive meals. As the weather's getting colder, soup season is coming, and it was certainly cold here this week. It was so nice one day, and then the wind came up and it blew like 40 miles an hour, and then the next thing we had 3 solid days of rain, and we had even flood warnings, and even on my property the water came up so much that I was out there in my raincoat and my rain pants and my boots raking away the gravel and getting things out of the way so that the driveway and the property is draining properly. So be ready. Make sure you have things like rakes, hose, shovels, and be prepared so that if there are places like that you understand on your property, maybe you have water buildup, that it could become a problem, which I know that I do, and it's a problem that I deal with all the time whenever it rains. And so be prepared with your tools. Make sure you've got some nice gloves, and then be ready to protect yourself and your property and take care of those issues when they come up. You can always go out and, say, move rocks around or rake up leaves and dead branches, but you don't really know for sure until the water is building up where it actually needs to be raked so that it can flow off to where it needs to go. Anyway, I can't know ahead of time. You have to get out in the pouring rain and do the raking and shoveling. And so it always is, inconvenient weather, but it's important that we do those things. Because I went into town to take Teddy to the vet, I also filled up the gas tank in the car. It's important that you keep your car full. If you start to get down to a half, fill it up. And I've been pleased that the price of gas has been staying the same throughout most of the summer. So here is what the price of gasoline and the price of propane is currently here in Alaska. So hopefully it stays that way for a while. So leave it in the comments below. What prepping did you do this week? It doesn't have to be some big fancy thing that costs a lot of money. It can just be rearranging our things, inventorying what we have, surveying what you have, inventorying your supplies, looking over the bounty that you have in your life and counting your blessings, and then figuring out how to maintain that lifestyle. That's what prepping is. You're trying to maintain the life that you have and make days go as smoothly as possible. So I hope you'll like my video, share it with someone else you think might enjoy it. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel. Feeling good? You feeling good? Yeah, he's a good boy.